Peace and love. Let's do a reading for the fire signs. Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, Aries, Sag, for the month of April, but mainly as we move into the spring months. So that means that when you come across this reading, it's timeless. So it might be a message in here for you. All right, so let's go ahead and cleanse our space. I'm going to light an incense. Let's see here. I need to replenish. Give thanks for another spring, right? Sending you positive energy. All right. And I'm going to also cleanse my hands, my third eye, and my crown. Thank you, Spirit. And let's see where we are. I'll be using my Crystal Oracle deck, and then we'll also pull a few Lenormand cards. And then we'll do some crystals in the end. I have my tea, so I might get a sip from time to time. All right, thank you, Spirit. What messages do you have for the fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sag, as we move into the spring months? Thinking about the themes of renewal, new chapters, planting seeds, bringing in abundance, all that beautiful energy. Thank you. Leo, Aries, Sag. We'll pull a Sacred Medicine Oracle card at the end. Those have been beautiful with the last few readings I've done. All right, Spirit, thank you. Thank you, angels, ancestors, higher self. Giving thanks and praise to the Most High energy. All right, let's see. We have organization, contentment, spontaneity, leadership, imagination, bravery. And we have authenticity. This comes up a lot. This theme comes up a lot with all the readings I do, this channel and then my other channel as well. It means that a lot of us are finding it difficult to walk in our true spaces. All right, showing our true faces, all that. So that's always something that we're focusing on. And that's truly the freedom and the gift of life. That's the true abundance. Give me a little sip here. Ooh, this is pretty good. Green tea with blueberry this morning. All right, let's pull a couple of Normans to put at the bottom. Beautiful energy out here, though, with the sunstone and the garnet. So happy days ahead. If we're just looking at the cards that are out here, just some advice. Making sure that you're speaking your truth, always, with Crassicola. So, not that we're harming people with our words, but that we're making sure that things that come out of our mouths, they're worth saying, and that they have honesty behind them. All right, that means not lying to ourselves as well. If you're speaking to yourself, not lying to yourself, that keeps you from lying to others, right? We have the fluorite and the Veracruz amethyst and also labradorite. These all deal with third eye and crown chakra. So meditation is needed at this time, or just introspection, but also spiritual communication in whatever way is comfortable for you. Communicating directly with your spirit guides. Also looking for signs. For some of you all, if you don't like to communicate in a way where you're talking, just going outside, watching nature. There's signs in that as well. Pulling cards. If you have an oracle deck, This is a beautiful time to do that as we're heading into the spring months and planting seeds for renewal. I read all the time for myself. Sometimes I take breaks, but even when I do these messages for other signs, I'm able to pull something out of it for me when it comes to my healing and movement forward. But we're going to make sure that we're getting in tap with our higher self. So that's what this energy is. In Sunstone, seeing the possibilities in life, all right? Opening ourselves up to new life force, new energy, honoring that with the Sunstone. Garnet, that energy for me is passionate, right? Passionate energy, making sure that we're aligning with our passions. And then we have lapis as well. The underlining energy here with authenticity also deals with throat chakra. Honoring ourselves, being truthful. Okay. So some important information coming in for you guys this month, or whenever you come across this video. How is it going to come to you? Through many different ways. All right. So you want to be aware and open to receiving some information. Something important is happening right now. Something important is always happening, but pay attention to what's happening around you here. We already see that because we have a lot of that higher chakra, higher knowledge energy here. For some of us, we've been blocked. So this is the flow card for me with the fish. It talks about money, abundance, moving forward pretty much. We want to think about a fish and how it flows in a river. Also, the ship deals with movement, travel, going from one place to another. It also could be commerce, many different things. But then we have the mountain here. So something has been blocked. The movement has been blocked. The flow has been blocked, right? Not blocked for good. The idea with the mountain is that, things take time. They move slow. They move slow. But also the movement will happen. It's just things that we're not able to see right now. We won't be able to see it until we get over onto the other side. And then we'll say, wow, how do we get here? And so right now, there's a blockage here as far as moving forward. And a lot of it can come from authenticity, not being authentic in how you are showing up in your life. This can be your work reading. It could be a relationship reading. It's whatever it is for you. You will be able to place it. But if you're finding that you're not moving forward in certain avenues, and I'm not saying that everybody's supposed to rush and move at extremely fast speeds. It's not about that, or having everything that you want like that. It's not about that. But if you feel like you're seeing the same things, you're doing the same things, it's something that has to be addressed here with the lapis stone, authenticity. So first of all, making sure that you are being truthful and honest to yourself and authentic to yourself. First and foremost, that's how you know where you need to be and where you should be spiritually. Once you know where you need to be and who you are spiritually, then you'll start to get those insights on how to move yourself forward, right? And we'll move into that transformation. Spirit is saying, see yourself in a leadership position here with the sunstone. No matter where you are, what you do, this could be relationship, this could be work. See yourself being a leader. That's the key. All right. Authenticity here shows that you have the power to be a leader. You have the power to drive things and move things forward. Spirit is saying step up to that right now with the sunstone energy, utilizing your imagination and being brave. It's just pretty, it's laid out right here, right? So that's how you move into that abundance that you're looking for, moving past these blockages. All right. So start to envision. A lot of the readings have had the same energy. Start to envision what you see, what you want, all right, and how you want it to feel. And that's what I always tell, doing my readings, tell you all, is that sometimes you might not be able to envision it, all right, because it could be beyond our envisionings, right? We always want beautiful things to happen. But if we can just know what it feels like, what our day-to-day feels like, how it feels when we're off, when we're operating in an authentic manner, when we're showing up as ourselves, not about other people, how they perceive us, but how do we perceive ourselves, right? We want to make sure that we're loving on ourselves first before we it's not about the approval of others. And I think that's sometimes the blockages when it comes to authenticity, because we're concerned about what others might think, how they might judge us, how their perceptions or their ideas, or how we look in their eyes. And if that's causing us to walk with false shoes on, we're not sure-footed as we're walking forward, then it's not good, right? We're not doing anything but harming ourselves, and we're just placating others. It's like, no, we need to always be walking and talking as us, right? That's when we are operating, utilizing the higher self, understanding that the blueprint is there. All right. If we're going against the blueprint, then we're going against the self. We're going against the spirit. We're going against the heart. So how do we get there? We have to use our imagination right now. It's right in the middle. So this is the start. This is the start. This is the start of moving towards a more authentic life. It's saying, what do I see for myself? How do I want to be? How do I want to live? How do I want to feel? Organizing yourself, organizing your thoughts. This came up for another sign. Making sure that we are understanding what's right when it comes to our thoughts, and understanding what's not right, false, and removing those things from our mind. All right? Those false ideas that have been planted there by other people, and a lot of times by ourselves. Making sure that we're dealing with the right people here. Making sure that we're moving into organizations that we can utilize our leadership potential, or our leadership qualities, abilities. And if you can't find that place, creating that place on your own. For some of you all who are brave enough to start a business, or who have the desire. You don't have to start a business. If you work for an organization and you're fulfilled doing that, there's nothing wrong with that. Spirit is saying, this organization card is giving me a balanced energy, but a balance between contentment and spontaneity. Being content with where you are, sometimes it's a beautiful thing. Always it's a beautiful thing. But we don't want it to be to the point where we don't move forward, and we don't try new things, and we don't step outside the box. That's where this energy comes through with the Cresicola, with the spontaneity. So it has to be a balance of both. Loving yourself, loving who you are, because we had forgiveness here with Rhodonite. All right, so this to me, it doesn't always come up as forgiving others. For me, it's always forgiving who you are, forgiving yourself, which means that maybe in the past I didn't do what I should have done. Maybe in the past I wasn't living the way I wanted to live. But that's fine, because that's a part of life. And those are lessons I have to learn in order to become more powerful spiritually. And that's all right. So I'm going to move forward, right? Perseverance is on the bottom of that as well, or underneath that. I'm going to be content with that journey and those lessons. All right. And where I am now, right at this moment. But I also know that I need to make changes here. And I need to be truthful about those changes with this card, with Cresicola. Whoops. Sorry about that. Don't let anybody knock you off your game, too. One drop. So I'm going to get a couple more, and I can't see what it was. I'll try to put these ones down. Okay. Let me just organize myself here. All right. So, on the imagination card with the labradorite, Labradorite is a great stone to meditate with if you want to work on spiritual communication. Spiritual communication could just be the higher self. That means you're sitting alone, you're meditating, which means you're just being still. Meditation doesn't have to be complicated, and you're allowing your thoughts. You're allowing your thoughts to just manifest, and you're just paying attention to things that you say. That's getting to the higher self. That energy, listening to the self. That's the start. That's where this all starts, where it should start. But on that, we have a piece of moonstone, black moonstone. Anytime we're dealing with the moon, we're tapping into that intuitive energy at night. So the dream spaces, making sure that you're paying attention to your dreams, not being afraid of diving and going into things that are somewhat of a darker energy when it comes to the self. We saw the forgiveness card there, right? So making sure that we're looking to those spaces for review, those hidden spaces, and bringing them up for review. Working with spirit at night as well. Honoring divine feminine energy when it comes to how you imagine yourself. And this reading can be for male or female, masculine or feminine energy, doesn't matter. But the idea that your imagination exists within the intuitive body, and so you want to use your intuition as you create this world for yourself, this vision that you have for your future. The moonstone deals with divine feminine energy. It deals with moon cycles. It deals with spirit communication, all of those things. It also deals with peacefulness, slowing down as well. Slow down enough to imagine something beautiful in your life. Stop ripping and running if that's what you're doing. All right? Oops. Stop ripping and running. And that's the interesting thing, too. I had to flip these to the bottom because I had to look at that. It's the idea of going somewhere, moving quick. You want to think about the fish in the boat, moving at top speed, but going nowhere, hitting this blank. And that's kind of a thing in life, too, where you're moving so fast that you're doing nothing or you're going nowhere because you haven't taken the time to go within, to analyze where you are, to speak to the higher self. So slow down a bit. Spontaneity. We have obsidian here. The idea with this is just being protected as you're going through these spaces, knowing that you can be brave, right? Knowing that you can have new ideas, you can do different things, new things. Spirit is saying you're protected in doing those things. Don't be afraid of trying something new for fear what might happen, fear what my other people might say. Spiritually, you're protected as you move into new territory, new journeys. Get a sip. And then on the Veracruz amethyst, we have a piece of Veracruz amethyst. And so the whole idea with this is just, it says contentment. All right, but this is higher spiritual communication. You have to tap in to your higher self before you can even start thinking about other stuff. Tap in first. All right, have a visit with who you are. Start that now. Start that today. A moment to tap in, to listen, not to others, but just to listen to you. Meditation with labradorite, meditation with amethyst of any form is going to be powerful for you right now. If you don't have these stones, can you meditate? Yes. You don't need anything. You don't need anything spiritually. You just need the self and the belief and the faith. That's all that's required for spiritual work. Everything else, does it enhance? Of course. Of course. It adds to the ritual of it all. And sometimes when we create rituals, we stick with things, we're serious about them. All right? When we subscribe a ritual to it, it becomes powerfully ingrained in our minds. All right? When we create that practice. But can you start with just you? Yes. You should. We have amethyst out here on the fish card. This is where the abundance is for you. All right, amethyst still deals with higher communication. It deals with the crown chakra. That's when we're receiving messages from our spirit team. But more than that, we're receiving messages from the self. Not looking without, but looking within. Sitting down and communicating. That's where the flow will happen, the abundance here. That's when we'll start to see the purification energy here with the clear quartz. Clear quartz is a master healer. It's the stone of all stones. And so if you don't have any of these stones here, if you can get yourself a piece of clear quartz, it's all you need when it comes to your spiritual workings. You can use that clear quartz in every one of your spiritual modalities or your spiritual practices. Bring that piece out, clear it energetically. Many different ways to clear your stones. Program it for whatever you need to use it for in that moment. It can be programmed, this stone. Extremely powerful. But purification will happen. Transmutation, which means bringing up things up from review, turning those things that were once dark and shedding some light on them so they can be healed. Taking one thing, turning it from one thing to another. That's all transmutation is. All right, that's going to move us past those blockages that we see here with the mountain. The mountain also talks about being strong. All right, so you've gone through some things here. Don't discount that. Don't discount what you've done in your journey. You have the strength out here with the mountain. But you'll get stronger and stronger as you tap in with yourself. Let's see. These are my crystal reading cards. Card of all cards for me, guys. If I only had one deck, this would be it. For me. I've had it for many years. But I work with crystal energy a lot. And so I resonate highly with decks that offer some crystal energy in them. Which means I work with Mother Earth energy. So grounding here, we have hematite. So one, hematite talks about protection. But grounding the body, grounding the self, understanding the self, this is all grounding. Not flying away and moving in at the speed of light when you haven't checked in with yourself, grounding your body. All right? Honoring that part of yourself here with this energy, slowing down with the hematite. Manifestation. We have the sunstone here out here as well. Libyan gold tektite. This is the idea of beautiful things are happening. We see it here. They're happening. But we have to believe that they're happening. And we have to put ourselves in a position that when things do happen, it's for our highest good. And it's not whatever we want it, whatever we, think it should be, or whatever the world wants it to be, Also, we manifest from the higher self. This is a Sacred Medicine Oracle by Asha Frost. We manifest from the higher self. If you're not tapping in with yourself, then you're not going to be able to manifest properly. You're manifesting somebody else's vision. If you haven't tapped in with yourself, then you tapped in with somebody else. That's just the way I feel about it. All right, so let's see. Thank you if you've watched this reading. These readings they take a lot of spiritual energy and love to do. I might slow down a little bit on this channel, and then we'll see how things go. But all my readings are timeless, so please feel free. So we have connections with storytelling, making sure that we're telling ourselves the correct stories, right? Because we have the forgiveness out there. But let's read it. Spirit is saying you're ready to soar. Storytelling 20. Sometimes they mirror the readings, and sometimes they bring a different light. I'm always interested in seeing what some of the messages have to say. All right, so storytelling connection. Traditionally, winter was when we told our stories. Wisdom was passed down from one generation to the next during these times, and many of our teachings were passed down orally. This medicine card comes forward today to remind you of the potent stories your family history holds. And these stories are medicine ways, teachings of your lineage, and traditional knowledge that is waiting to be uncovered. The medicine asks you to do some familiar research at this time. Sit with an elder in your family and ask them to tell your favorite stories. If this is not accessible to you, ask for the information to come through your dreams, visions, and inner knowing. Write down what you discover. Think about the favorite stories of your childhood, the stories told to you by your loved ones, and all the teachings passed down to you about your heritage. There is gold waiting to be mined there, and you are being welcomed forward as a wisdom keeper of family knowledge and tradition. Storytelling is a way to remember who we truly are. And this card is calling you to come home to your most authentic self. Sacred ceremony. One of your favorite relatives who has passed on to spirit world walks you into a room with a fireplace. It's cozy, warming, and welcoming. They pour you a cup of tea, and you smell the medicinal plants that have been infused into this drink. As you take a sip, the stories of your past, present, and future come flooding into your heart, blood, memory, and mind. These are stories that need to be shared, and you make a commitment to your relative that you will offer these in some way. These stories are now rooted within. Your voice is the medium to share them. Healing affirmation. The stories held in my memory are waiting to be revealed. I am a wisdom keeper for my lineage. Guys, I'm also a wisdom keeper, so this message is beautiful for me. But we have this here. This is the transformation. This will help move things forward. Spirit is saying you're powerful, you're strong with a mountain, but you've been unable to move forward. And this is a spiritual reading, but it also deals with life, because you have to be authentic to your lineage, who you are. You have to tap into the higher self, which is you, in order to even understand how to go about accessing these stories. You have to be brave. This is where the transformation is. For some of us, with this forgiveness card, being afraid or being sad about the lineage or being sad about something that happened in the family, not wanting to be a part of the spiritual connection that we have with our family because of something that happened, cutting that spiritual line off. That's detrimental to you, because we come into families for a reason, for good and for bad, light and shadow. We learn lessons to carry those things forward and bring up for healing, healing ourselves and healing others. And so if something happened in your family, in your spiritual lineage, your ancestral lineage, that you having a hard time moving past, that's the information here that needs to come up for review. That's the story that has to be told. Do you have to tell it to everybody else? No. But who do you have to tell it to first? Yourself. If you can tell that story to yourself, there's healing and movement in it that can propel you forward. All right, peace until next time. Take care.